For most of us, getting through the workday, school day, and then making the commute home is considered survival. But next to these stories, that's child's play. Whether floating helplessly in the ocean, wandering the desert, falling 30,000 feet, or enduring a vicious animal attack, these tales of survival show the amazing resilience of the human mind and body in the face of impossible odds. So hit that subscribe button, sit back, and prepare to see these men and women endure situations that would leave the rest of us as worm food. Ben Nayam. The animal kingdom is full of fascinating creatures, us included. However, every now and then, Mother Nature likes to remind us that we aren't untouchable. In Kenya, Ben Nayam had an unfortunate run-in with a python in 2009. The 13-foot reptile pulled the man into a tree, coiled around him, and started to try and eat him. For 3 hours, Nayam fought the python and prevented it from swallowing him by covering its head with his t-shirt. How did he eventually escape? The farmer used his last ounce of strength to bite the python's tail, causing it to release him. Twice lucky. Todd Orr discovered that you shouldn't go anywhere near a mom and her babies. The Montana native was out hiking when he came across a grizzly bear with its cubs. Upset, the mama bear charged Orr and ran right through a cloud of bear repellent to get at him. After delivering a brutal mauling, the bear left. Or did it? Injured and making his way back to his car 5 kilometers away, Orr was set upon by the same bear for a second time. This attack was even worse, breaking bones and leaving deep wounds. Incredibly, no major arteries were severed and Orr managed to survive. Hiro Onoda. The Second World War was a brutal conflict that claimed the lives of upwards of 60 million people. We guess that means Japanese soldier Hiro Onoda survived some odds right off the bat. However, this isn't the whole story. You see, Onoda was serving in the Philippines and was instructed to resist to the end, so he did just that. In fact, he didn't surrender until 1974, nearly 30 years after the war had ended. Living in the jungle, Onoda had continued to resist by killing the occasional local, shooting cows, or stealing rice. It was only after an official order was given to him that this old soldier decided to end his war. John Colter. This American trapper lived a hard life on the American frontier, braving the elements and native tribes who weren't always so friendly. In fact, in 1809, while out trapping, Colter and a colleague were attacked by Blackfoot warriors. His friend was killed and Colter was taken prisoner. That's when Colter's story became something out of the Running Man movie. Stripped of his clothes and possessions, the Blackfoot ordered him to run. They weren't letting him go, just giving him a head start for the hunt. For 11 days, he fought his pursuers and traveled 200 miles back to a friendly fort. Sławomir Radowicz. In 1940, Polish officer Sławomir Radowicz found himself imprisoned in a Soviet gulag. Deep in the Siberian wilderness, escape from the gulag was possible, but survival was unlikely given how remote the area was. Nonetheless, Radowicz made his escape with a small group during a blizzard in 1941. Over the next year, he trekked through the Siberian forest, across the Gobi Desert, and over the Himalayan mountains. In all, it was a 4,000-mile journey, which claimed the lives of 3 others in the group before Radowicz reached India. Hollywood thought the story was so incredible, they turned it into a movie in 2010 called The Way Back. Anna Bagenholm. If you fall through the ice in sub-zero temperatures, your odds of survival drop. Get trapped under the ice, you're likely done for. Anna Bagenholm was skiing with friends in Norway when she fell into some water. Trapped between rocks and the ice, survival seemed unlikely. For 40 minutes, she remained conscious thanks to an air pocket under the ice. However, the cold eventually overcame her, and it took another 40 minutes before her body could be retrieved. Incredibly, she survived. With no pulse and suffering the most severe case of hypothermia doctors had ever seen, Bagenholm was brought back to life 9 hours after the rescue. Sunken survival. A cook aboard a tugboat, Harrison O'Keefe, shouldn't be alive today, but he is. Early one morning in rough seas, the tugboat he was aboard capsized off the Nigerian coast. Unsure of the fate of the rest of the 11-man crew, O'Keefe somehow found a pocket of air and piled up mattresses to stay above the rising water. For nearly 3 days, he sat wet and cold in the dark, in his little pocket of air 30 meters under the surface. When divers came to inspect the wreck, they were shocked when O'Keefe reached out from the dark. It was an incredible moment caught on video and watched around the world. Mauro Prosperi. For most of us, the idea that you would intentionally undertake a 6-day, 155-mile marathon through the Sahara Desert Sounds crazy. Nonetheless, runner Mauro Prosperi did just that. When a sandstorm hit, it caused the former Olympian to become disoriented and started a 10-day ordeal which would have left most people dead. Finding an old shrine, he stayed there for days, drinking his own urine and eating raw bats that he caught. When things looked bleak, he tried cutting his wrists, but Prosperi was so dehydrated his blood clotted up. A last-ditch attempt to find help paid off when he stumbled upon some goat herders, ending his ordeal. Vesna Vulovic. It's not uncommon to hear of people who survive a terrorist attack or a plane accident, but what about both at the same time? In 1972, Vesna Vulovic was a flight attendant aboard JAT Flight 367. At over 33,000 feet, a bomb exploded, ripping the plane apart. Vulovic survived the blast and plummeted to the ground with the wreckage. Incredibly, she survived the bomb and the fall, recovering fully from her injuries. In addition, she also set a Guinness record for the highest fall without a parachute. Poon Lim. We like to think that we've conquered our planet, but it has a way of reminding us that it can be a brutal place sometimes. In November 1942, Poon Lim was aboard a freighter traveling from South Africa to Suriname in South America. During the voyage, the ship was torpedoed and sunk. Lim managed to get to a life raft, but that was just the beginning of the story. Doing his best Tom Hanks castaway impression, he survived storms, ate fish and seagulls, and lived on the raft for 133 days. He even killed a shark that was deliberately bumping into his raft. In early April 1943, Lim's ordeal ended when he was picked up by Brazilian fishermen. If you thought those stories were amazing, try checking out our other videos over at The Richest. There's something for all tastes. Just be sure to subscribe. Take care for now. Bye-bye.